Have you ever wondered how your favorite mobile apps and websites share information seamlessly with each other? They do it through something called an API. In this tutorial, we're going to demystify this process and show you how to start building a simple API using Python and the Flask framework. So, let's start with the fundamental question: what exactly is an API? The easiest way to understand an API, or application programming interface, is to use a familiar analogy: a waiter at a restaurant. You, the client, which could be a mobile app or a web browser, place an order with the waiter. This order is a request for data. The waiter, our API, takes that request to the kitchen, the server, which processes the request and prepares the food, or data. The waiter then brings the finished food, or response, back to you. The API handles all the communication, allowing the client and server to work together without knowing the inner workings of each other. Now, with so many options out there, you might be asking, why choose Flask for this project? Flask is an excellent choice, especially for beginners, because it's lightweight and fast. It doesn't have a lot of unnecessary features, which keeps it simple and easy to understand. It's also incredibly simple and easy to learn, with a straightforward syntax that allows you to get an app running in just a few lines of code. Plus, it's highly flexible and customizable, allowing you to add more complex features as you grow. And with a large community, you'll find countless tutorials and support to help you along the way. The very first step is setting up your Flask environment. The easiest way to install Flask is by using pip, the package installer for Python. You simply open your terminal or command prompt and type pip install Flask. This command will download and install Flask and all of its required dependencies, preparing your environment for building your first web application. Let's dive into the code and create our first Flask app. The code you see on the screen is the absolute minimum you need to get a Flask application running. We start by importing the Flask class. Then, we create an instance of our app and a route for the root URL, /. The hello_world function returns a simple string, and the if __name _= _main___ block ensures the server only runs when you execute this script directly. The core of any API is its endpoints. Let's practice creating an API endpoint. An endpoint is a specific URL that an API can listen to and return a response from. In this code, we create a new route called /data. When a user navigates to this URL, our get_data function will execute. We use the Johnify function to return a Python dictionary as a standardized JSON response, which is a common format for sharing data on the web. After you've created your endpoint, you'll need to test your API. The easiest way to test a GET request is by simply opening a web browser and navigating to the URL of your endpoint. When you go to http://127.0.0.1:5000/data, you should see the raw JSON data that your API returned. This is your client, the browser, talking directly to your server and getting the data it requested. Now let's review the key concepts you've learned. The first is routes, which are the URLs you define for your API to respond to. Second, you learned about JSON, which is the standardized data format your API will use to communicate with other applications. And finally, you learned about running the app, which starts a local web server to make your API accessible. If you're excited to continue learning, here are your next steps to get started. First, try adding more endpoints that handle different types of requests, like a POST request to add new data. Then, challenge yourself to connect your API to a database to store and retrieve data more dynamically. And once you're ready, you can deploy your API to a cloud service to make it publicly available to the world. You've just built a foundational skill in web development and data communication. This is the first step toward building powerful, interconnected applications. Want more coding tips and insights? Be sure to follow ScriptDataInsights on Instagram and YouTube. Just look for @ScriptDataInsights to continue your learning journey.